Section 3.4, slope-intercept form of a line. This is the form. This is what we call slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Why do we call it that? Because this form, the m represents the slope, and the b represents the y-intercept. And just a note that we need to keep in mind, this form does not apply for vertical lines. In this section, you're going to start seeing a lot of things that we have seen on previous sections. So we're going to put it all together in section 3.4. Let's move on to the next slide. It says find the slope and y-intercept of a line whose equation is given. So here's number one, y equals negative x. So we need to identify the m and the b. So we're going to look at it the following way. This might help some of you. And basically what I'm doing is I'm using the identity property of addition from section 1.6. And from here, I know that my m is wherever's in front of the x, which is a negative 1, and the b is whatever's to the right of the x, which is 0. Let's move on to number 2. Here, notice that I cannot this does not look like this form, slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to have to do is basically solve for y. So I'm going to take away 3x from both sides. Once I do that, I end up with negative 2y equals negative 3x minus 8. At this point, I don't want the negative 2 in front of the y. It's a multiplication, so I'm going to divide by negative 2. The first term here and the second term by negative 2. At this point, I have y equals negative divided by negative is positive, so it's 3/2 x plus 4. So now this looks like slope-intercept form. Let me just erase that. So this is what we were able to get by solving for y. So from here, I'm able to see that the slope is whatever's in front of the x, which is 3/2, and the b is 4. Let's move on to number 3. It says y equals 3. I can look at number 3 the following way. And I'm basically using the multiplication property of 0 from section 1.6. And my m is whatever's in front of the x, which is 0, and the b is 3. Then 4. X equals negative 4. So to do this problem, we need to understand that the slope is undefined. Why? Because again, we saw this in an earlier section. Any vertical line, the slope is undefined. And then from here, since there's no slope, we need to find the y-intercept. But again, there's no y-intercept. Why? Because it's a vertical line going through the x value negative 4. So this line is parallel to the y-axis, so it never crosses the y-axis. Let's move on to the next slide. Here's number 5. It says find the equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. So whenever I know the slope and the y-intercept, I can use this form, and I would have the equation of the line. So in this case, they give me the slope and they give me the y-intercept. 2/3 for the slope, for the y-intercept negative 6. So all I need to do is plug it into this form, and I am done. So this is the equation of the line with the given information. Y equals 2/3 x minus 6. Let's go to number 6. The slope is 0. The y-intercept is 3. So again, I'm given the m. I'm given the b. So I plug the information into the form. I can write it like this, or I can also express the answer as y equals 3. They mean the same thing. Let's go to number 7. It says the slope is undefined and the x-intercept is 2. This one's a little bit different. Why? Because if I know that the slope is undefined, I know that this represents a vertical line. And since it's a vertical line, you saw this earlier on this video, This form does not apply for vertical lines. And you also know that since you have slope undefined and is a vertical line, the equation of the line is x equals a real number from a previous section. So that's why the answer is x equals 2. This is the equation of the line, x equals 2. Let's go to number 8. It says the slope is -1 and the y-intercept is 0. So this is my answer, y equals -x, or y equals -x plus 0. And if you look at this problem, it looks sort of familiar. It is related to problem number 1 on this section. Excuse me, on this video. So let me move on to the next slide. Here we go. This is why a slope-intercept form is very important. It makes it very easy to graph. And let me let's go through this so this makes sense. So notice that in this case, this is actually slope-intercept form. From here, I know that the b is equal to -2. The y-intercept is -2. So what I'm gonna do, since I need to graph this, I'm actually going to graph that value, and that's why you see it here. Okay, this is a point that is going to help me come up with the equation of the line. So now from here, since I know that this is the b, I can find the m very easily, the slope, which is 2/3. And then at this point, I'm going to use the definition 1 of slope, which is this. Basically, y increases by 2 and x increases by 3. So then I'm going to go here from my y-intercept, and I'm going to increase by 2 and on the y and increase by 3 on the x. So then I have this, and this is where I have another point. From here, I do the same thing. I am going to increase by 2 on the y, increase by 3 on the x, and I have this point. Once I have this information, I'm pretty much done. All I need to do is to come up with the equation of the graph of the line. Just draw a line through those points, and this is my answer. Now, this is one of the ways that you can check to make sure that you didn't make any silly mistakes. Notice that the slope is positive, and if I was to write the word slope, it should be going up, and it does. If I write the word slope going down, that's a hint that you probably made a mistake. Let's move on to number 10. Same directions, just looks different because in this problem you're not given slope-intercept form. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make this look like slope-intercept form. So I am going to take away, I am going to have to solve for y. So first I'm going to get rid of the -3x, so I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Once I do that, I have -6y equals 3x minus 24. Then I don't want the -6 in front of the y, and again this is a multiplication. How do I get rid of the multiplication? I divide by -6, and I divide both terms on the right hand side by -6. Not just one, both of them. Very common mistake that students make. So be careful with that. From here, I simplify and I get y is equal to -1/2 x, and then this is negative divided by negative is a +4. From here, this is slope-intercept form. The b is equal to the y-intercept is equal to 4. Then I go ahead and graph it, which is up here. So from here, I am going to apply my slope. The slope is -1/2. Again, you can give the negative to the numerator or just leave it like that. So from here, I know that if I apply definition 1, y decreases by 1 and x increases by 2. So from here, I am going to go down 1 along the y-axis and then increase by 2 on the x-axis, or go to the right 2 units. And this is where my next point is. I do this again. That's where my next point, one more time. I could have stopped at this point. This is just extra. Then once I have these points, I connect them with a straight line. And if I take the extra step of writing the word slope, according to what I know from summary of slopes, since the word slope is going down, the slope of the problem should be negative, and it is. Let's go to the last problem on this video, this lesson. Same directions, just looks a little bit like number 10. This is not a slope-intercept form. So here we go. I know I'm not going to give you the work, but you should be able to put in a slope-intercept form. I am going to give you the answer, so hopefully once you put it in slope-intercept form and you graph it, the answer matches what I'm showing you. This concludes the video of section 3.4.